Most people spend their lives watching the visible results of others and wondering how those results appeared, yet they rarely stop to think about what happens when no one is watching. We live in a world fascinated by applause, awards, titles, and outward success, but the truth is, success is not built on stages or in spotlights. It is built in quiet rooms, early mornings, late nights, and private decisions that never make the highlight reel. The real difference between those who rise and those who remain stuck is not what they do in public, but what they practice in private. I once heard a story about a man who wanted to change his life. He wasn't lazy and he wasn't stupid. He worked hard, showed up every day, and yet year after year, his life looked exactly the same. One afternoon, frustrated and tired, he asked a successful mentor a simple question: "What am I missing?" The mentor didn't answer right away. He walked him outside, pointed to a field and said, "Look at that land, it produces crops every season without complaining. Why?" The man shrugged. The mentor smiled and said, "Because long before the harvest shows up, the soil has already been prepared." That lesson stayed with him forever, because success works the same way. The harvest is public, but the preparation is private. Successful people understand something most people ignore. They understand that what you repeatedly do when no one is forcing you eventually decides what you become when everyone is watching. They don't wait for motivation to strike or for circumstances to improve. They practice discipline in silence. They practice growth in solitude. They practice integrity when shortcuts are available. They do the small things consistently, not because someone is keeping score, but because they know their future is. One of the first things successful people practice in private is self-discipline. Not dramatic discipline, not punishment, not deprivation, but quiet discipline that governs daily choices. They get up when it would be easier to sleep in. They read when it would be easier to scroll. They plan when it would be easier to drift. No one applauds these decisions. No one gives awards for waking up early or saying no to distractions. Yet these small private acts slowly shape a powerful public life. Discipline is not about restriction, it is about direction. Successful people decide in advance where their life is going, then discipline themselves to walk that path, even on days when motivation is nowhere to be found. Another thing successful people practice in private is thinking. Not worrying, not complaining, but deliberate thinking. They take time to reflect on their actions, their habits, and their direction. While others are busy reacting to life, successful people are quietly reviewing it. They ask themselves difficult questions. What am I doing that's working? What am I doing that's not? What must I change if I want a different result? This habit of reflection keeps them from repeating the same year over and over. Thinking is hard work, which is why so few people do it seriously. But those who do discover that better thinking leads to better decisions, and better decisions lead to a better life. Successful people also practice learning when no one is assigning homework. They understand that formal education may open a door, but self-education keeps it open. They read books others ignore. They listen to ideas others dismiss. They invest time in learning skills that may not pay off immediately, but will compound over time. They know that ignorance is expensive and knowledge pays interest. While others say, "I already know that," successful people say, "What can I learn from this?" That mindset alone separates the ordinary from the extraordinary. In private, successful people practice responsibility. They do not blame the economy, their past, their parents, or their circumstances for where they are. They accept full ownership of their life. This doesn't mean they ignore injustice or difficulty. It means they refuse to give their power away. They understand that blaming may feel good temporarily, but it produces nothing. Responsibility, on the other hand, produces growth. The moment a person accepts responsibility for their results is the moment they gain the ability to change them. Another quiet practice is emotional control. Successful people feel fear, doubt, and frustration just like everyone else, but they don't let emotions dictate their actions. In private moments of pressure, they practice patience. In moments of disappointment, they practice resilience. They train themselves not to quit just because something feels uncomfortable. They understand that emotions are signals, not commands. Mastering this inner world gives them an advantage long before any external success appears. Successful people also practice integrity when no one is watching. They do the right thing even when it would be easier to cut corners. They keep promises they could easily break. They hold themselves to standards higher than what the situation demands. This builds self-respect, and self-respect builds confidence. Confidence rooted in integrity does not shake under pressure because it isn't dependent on approval. Over time, this private consistency earns public trust, and trust opens doors talent alone cannot. There is also a practice of patience that successful people develop quietly. They understand that meaningful success takes time. They are willing to plant seeds today, knowing they may not see results for months or years, while others quit because progress feels slow. They keep going because they understand the law of accumulation. Small improvements done daily create massive results over time. They don't rush the process or resent the journey. They respect it. In private moments, successful people also practice vision. They take time to imagine a future better than their present. Not wishful thinking, but purposeful vision. They picture who they must become to achieve what they want. They see themselves acting differently, thinking differently, and living differently. This vision pulls them forward when circumstances push back. Without vision, discipline feels like punishment. With vision, discipline feels like investment. Let me tell you something important. What you practice in private eventually shows up in public whether you want it to or not. If you practice excuses in private, you will display limitations in public. If you practice growth in private, you will display strength in public. Life has a way of revealing what has been rehearsed behind closed doors. The stage does not create the performer, it exposes them. Many people want the rewards of success without adopting the habits that produce it. They want confidence without competence, results without discipline, and recognition without preparation. But life doesn't work that way. The private work always comes before the public reward. Every strong structure you see above ground is supported by something unseen below it. The moral of this story is simple and powerful. Your future is not determined by what you do occasionally in public, but by what you practice consistently in private. The quiet hours are shaping your destiny. The choices you make when no one is watching are writing the story everyone will eventually read. If you want a different future, don't start by changing the world around you. Start by changing the habits you practice when the room is silent. Because success is not an event. It is a lifestyle built quietly, patiently, and intentionally. And one day, when others ask how you did it, they will only see the results, never realizing that everything they admire was practiced long before it was ever performed.